Focused and fearless. Here's everything you need to know as you jumpstart your day. I'm Diego Castro. The National Police Commission has filed criminal cases against 50 officers before the Ombudsman over the 6.7 billion peso Shabu haul last year. Among the charges the officers now face are for violation of the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act, Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act, perjury, and obstruction of justice. According to the Interior Department, all but 2 officers were spotted in CCTV footage. However, the remaining 2 were identified by the other 48 suspects. 20 of the policemen charged are commissioned officers, while the rest are not.
Hindi naman natin sinasabi na agad-agaran na involved sila, ngunit ito yung part ng due process. Magkakaroon sila ng takdang panahon mapagpaliwanag.
NAPOLCOM says it is also studying possible administrative cases that may be filed against 48 of the 50 erring officers. But for now, the Commission says it's focused mostly on higher-ranking officers. This as authorities discover the magnitude of their roles in carrying out the operation.
Kawawa naman yung mga patrolman, yung mga non-commissioned officer na hindi naman gagawa ng ganitong hakbangin kung hindi ito na-sanction ng opisyal.
PHIVOX reports the slower effusion of lava from Mayon volcano summit crater. On Tuesday, state volcanologists recorded 1 volcanic earthquake and over 220 rockfall events in Mayon. Despite the volcano's unrest, some tourists headed to Albay to witness the Mayon's glowing summit. The Albay LGU set up 20 safe viewing sites for tourists, which could be found in Daraga, Camalig, Legazpi, and Ligao. PHIVOX says the volcano's unrest could last for months based on historical data. Currently, over 14,000 residents are currently staying in evacuation centers. Some barangays within the 7-kilometer danger zone have implemented forced evacuations, including Barangay Fidel Sortida.
Sa kasalukuyan po, patuloy pa rin yung pag-aalboruto ng Mayon Volcano. Patuloy pa rin yung pagdaloy o pagbaba ng mga lava flow.
Meanwhile, President Marcos is set to visit Albay today. Santo Domingo Mayor June Aguas wants to ask the President for support on their plan to provide permanent and safe relocation sites for evacuees. The preliminary investigation over the murder of Negros Oriental Governor Roel Degamo has started. The family of the slain governor faced the suspects who have recanted their statements implicating Negros Congressman Arnie Teves. Teves and his lawyers were not present in yesterday's preliminary investigation, prompting the DOJ to set a new hearing on June 27. Despite the suspects' recantation, the National Bureau of Investigation presented new evidence involving DNA samples of the suspects that were found in the scene of the crime. Justice Secretary Boying Remulla says this is enough to build a solid case against the suspects.
Recantation does not stop the process of the statements being brought out in the open. Yung DNA yan, makapakita, may ibang ebidensya bukod sa mga salita. Kahit sabihin nilang hindi sila yung naroon sa patayan, yung dugo nila nakuha sa patayan. Ano sabihin nun?
The camp of Congressman Arnie Teves, meanwhile, insists that they have not been summoned properly to attend the preliminary investigation. They also insist that the DNA samples entered into evidence should be authenticated first. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. The tale of two disputing cities over jurisdiction of Bonifacio Global City has been reawakened yet again. This as Taguig Mayor Lani Cayetano bites back at Makati Mayor Abby Binay's supposed remarks that the fight for BGC is still not over. Mayan Los Baños with the rest of the report.
In a manifestation filed before the Supreme Court, the Taguig City government said it wants to put an end to what they consider as fake news surrounding the controversy on the jurisdiction of certain key areas like the Bonifacio Global City and barangays such as Pembo, Sembo, and Comembo. Is it Taguig's or Makati's? Taguig Mayor Lani Cayetano filed an extremely urgent manifestation before the Supreme Court. The complaint stated that the city of Taguig manifests its grave concern over some information it had received over the past several days from what appears to be a barangay in a disputed area. The online post is said to be urging residents to continue the fight over the disputed areas. The manifestation also called out the post, insinuating that Makati Mayor Abby Binay allegedly talked to President Bongbong Marcos, First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos, and Supreme Court Chief Justice Alexander Hesmundo, who promised to reopen the case on the land dispute over BGC. In the manifestation, the Taguig LGU called out the said online post, which it says is in line with a recent interview of Mayor Binay, who said that the fight for BGC is not yet over. The manifestation claims that in the said interview, Binay said that the Supreme Court has invited them for an oral argument on the said case. Cayetano said Binay gave the impression that she has insider information since Taguig hasn't commented on Makati's motion and it did not receive the supposed order.
Ito ay hindi namin binabaliwala at kinukuha namin ng pagkakataong ito upang hingin sa Supreme Court ang kanilang atensyon at ang kanilang pag-iimbestiga sa nasabing mga post at interview or statements ni Mayor Abby Binay.
In response to the controversy, Mayor Cayetano reiterated that the decision of the Supreme Court's Third Division has ruled with finality last April to quash the omnibus motion for reconsideration of the Makati LGU. The High Court also discarded the Makati LGU's move to appeal the said decision to the SCN Bank. The Supreme Court also made it clear that the said disputed areas are now under the jurisdiction of Taguig.
Napakalinaw ng desisyon ng Korte Suprema at ito'y dapat igalang. Final na ang desisyon ng Korte Suprema tungkol sa kasong ito.
Mayor Binay is now in London to attend the London Tech Week. But according to the city administrator of Makati, this was the first time that they have heard of a petition brought before the SC on the basis of social media posts, which they described as with dubious authorship, accuracy, and credibility. Attorney Claro Certeza said that the allegations against the president, the first lady, and the court are also irresponsible. The city administrator adds that there are no right-thinking lawyers that would petition the High Court on the basis of these posts, yet Taguig has chosen to do so. But they say that if the SC will formally ask the Makati LGU to comment on the matter, they will do so. Reporting for News 5, Mayan Los Baños, we are One News.
President Bongbong Marcos has approved the inclusion of single parents and breastfeeding mothers in the government's food stamp program eyed for pilot implementation in July. The palace says the inclusion of single parents and breastfeeding mothers will strengthen the first 1,000 days of a child, which is crucial in addressing stunting or pagkabansot through maternal nutrition and proper child feeding practices. DSWD Secretary Rex Gatchalian said studies have shown that stunted growth begins even before some children reach daycare.
Ang problema natin is yung first 1,000 days mula sa pagbubuntis hanggang sa pagpapasuso, yung lactating mothers, crucial yung period na yun kasi nga may mga studies that show na by the time na makarating sila ng daycare, yung stunting nangyari na. So, irreversible na. Ang paradigm shift natin sa administrasyon na to, kung kaya ko sabihin siguro, yung attacking the problem doon pa lang sa first 1,000 days.
And that's it for this hour. Join us again at 7:45 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Diego Castro. We are One News. All sides, all the time.